on. But thank you all very much for joining this webinar on the Cabanas in Lamu. I'm delighted to be joined by Anna Campbell, co-owner of the Cabanas. And for those of you who aren't familiar or this is your first time hearing about the Cabanas in Lamu have recently joined the Offbeat Safaris portfolio and have also now joined the Small World Marketing portfolio. So we're really excited to be working with a really fantastic new property in Lamu. So just some housekeeping before we get started. This webinar is being recorded, so if anything comes to mind, if you have to leave throughout the presentation, you can catch up on that again or share it with your teams. And there will be some time at the end for questions. So do pop any questions into the Q&A and Anna will be able to answer them at the end. But for now, Anna, I will hand over to you.
Thank you, Orla. Thanks everybody for joining the Cabana show. I'm going to whistle through these slides and then, yeah, like Orla said, do ask any questions at the end in case I miss anything. So we're the Cabanas. Our story began with my mum, who is pictured here. This is my husband, Sean, my mother and myself. She designed and built these beautiful Swahili villas on the beach of Kizingoni, which is the southernmost tip of Lamu Island. And it created this incredibly safe and serene, protected beach. She was really a visionary. And the Cabanas is nestled in the middle of these villas. So it's a very friendly, very safe, very lucky to have the slice of the island that we do. So we called ourselves the Three Musketeers. Here we are. And we sort of worked with mum with helping with the villas, etc. And my husband and I started the Cabanas in 2018. But then we sadly lost my mum in 2020. And then there was COVID. And we decided that it was the right thing to do to honour her memory to come back to Lamu and pick up the pieces and relaunch the Cabanas and all the scribbled dreams that mum and I had yet been able to design and do. We sort of went through them and created what we have today, which is a very, very beautiful product that we're very proud of. So that's sort of our background. My husband, Sean, is from Hawaii, so that will explain a lot of the Hawaiian names of things that's going to come up. And so this is a little video, just it's sometimes nicer to see a visual. So you've got, especially if you've not been, this is the front of our beach. That's our beautiful Swahili dhow. This is a kite surfing. We've just closed our school, but it's very good for kite surfing if people have their own equipment. This is our bar by the pool. You can see the beach is huge. It's very serene. There's not much on it. And then beautiful creeks for water skiing any time of the year and stand-up paddling. And there's very few people around. And this is a movie night, which is sometimes really fun for guests that have been with us for a while or at Christmas or anything like that. So that just gives you a bit of an idea of where we are and what we're talking about. So access and arrival. So when you land in Nairobi, you'll land into Jomo Kenyatta, which is our international airport. And if you're early enough, you can jump straight onto a Jambo jet flight, which leaves at 9 in the morning and arrives with us an hour and 20 minutes later. So it's really easy to get to us. If people land a little bit after and the sort of transition isn't long enough, you can catch an afternoon flight at 2 o'clock at Wilson Airport, which is only a sort of 20 to 30-minute drive away from Jomo Kenyatta. So two very easy ways that can work around people's flights. Once you land at Manda Airport, which is what Lamu's airport's called, we have our concierge pick you up after luggage claim, and he'll have a Cabanas sign and he'll be wearing a Cabanas t-shirt, and he will guide you to our boat and captain that waits at the jetty. And then you go on a really beautiful 25-minute boat journey through the mangroves. You pass some fishing villages, you might pass some dhows, and you kind of already drop your shoulders and get into the island spirit. And then you'll see a group of people frantically waving from our beach, and we receive you. I can't remember what that series is called, but there's a series where that happens, that all our guests came off the boat and they were like, oh, White Lotus. They're like, oh my gosh, it's like White Lotus. So it's a bit like White Lotus. So it's a very friendly arrival. We want people to feel super loved and super nourished as soon as they land with us. So the experience begins from the airport. So very easy to get to us. This gives you a bit of a map as to where we are. So this is Kenya, and we're here on the northern coast. The lovely thing about the northern coast is we have beautiful, beautiful beaches. So very pristine sand and sea, no sea urchins, no corals, no seaweed. It's just sand, sea, and you can plonk into the water anywhere you like. And then you'll see a zoom in here. This is Lamu Island, and the Cabanas is here. It's on the very southernmost tip, and it's a very private beach that runs all the way along here. We've got this beautiful creek, which is fantastic for boat sports, swimming, stand-up paddling, and then a bit more of a playground around here with the wild open ocean. This beach here is this 12-kilometer beach that runs all the way, beautiful walk, to Shella, which is a more well-known village. And you can always walk there in the morning, have breakfast or lunch, and then the boat travels this way through the mangroves. This is the airport here. This is Lamu Town, which is a UNESCO heritage site, so great for tours. And then Shella here, which is more boho boutique, sort of more tourism village, which is great for lunch. So that's quite a fun day that we do with guests, but it gives you a great idea. And then this side is just these beautiful villas and the cabanas, so very protected. This is our cabanas from bird's eye view. So Lokahi here is one of our most elevated. It's up on a sand dune, so you can't see, but there's sort of an elevation. It goes up, up, and then Kailani is up on the top, so it looks over all of the cabanas. So we're very lucky with our terrace sand dunes. So Lokahi, Moana, Malama, Aloha, Kailani, Ohana, and Makai are our 7 cabanas. And then the main area is down here by the beach, and it's a beautiful conversation with the ocean. We have a deck up here under these trees where the birds are always chirping. So super for your coffee in the morning, watch the sailboats go by or the donkeys go by, and also brilliant for cocktails in the evening because the sun sets right in front of us every day. It's never boring. People always ask me. It is my favorite time of day. Everyone comes out the woodwork, grabs a cocktail, and sit on the beach and all. And then moving over here, we've got the Moroccan Lounge, which is where all of our incredible artisanal coffees are pumped out of. We've got matchas, mocktails, cocktails. We're big on our drinks and a large variety of them. And then you go on to our pool area with lounges and then lots of pods. And I'll show you pictures of those, which are brilliant fun. You can commandeer one for the day, read a book, fall asleep, have your lunch. You don't actually have to move all day if you don't want to. It's got a fan above you. And then you can roly-poly into the pool, and then the yoga is here, and it overlooks the beach and is becoming one of the most popular rooms of the hotel. We run yoga twice a day. So back here is the Zen Den. We've just developed this as our massage therapy place because it's so quiet and so healing. So we've created a magical garden that leads people from the main area to the Zen Den. So you sort of like really sort of relax as you walk through a beautiful garden and then have your therapy. So that's a sort of overview of the hotel. It's very small, but what's lovely is everyone has their own private space. So you feel like it's just you. It's just you in the hotel. And then our little communal nooks allow people to keep their privacy, but if they want to be social, they can join everyone at the bar. So it's great. This is just a bit of an overview of what we call the heart, which is that area where the pool is and the Moroccan Lounge. This is our yoga shala. As you can see, it's on the end and it's climate controlled. So it's very cool all day. And I think that's the carrot that we put in, hoping that more people would do yoga, and it is working, which is brilliant because everyone leaves feeling very zen. This is the coffee deck that I was talking about that's also great for cocktails, looks over the ocean, beautiful driftwood lounge chairs, and then a hammock in the middle of the pool. And then as you see, everything is focused at the sunset and the ocean. This is a pod. As you can see, there's a tree coming out of it. We're complete hippies, so we never want to cut a tree down. So our pool was designed around the trees. And so you find palm trees in the toilets, palm trees out of pods. It's very funny. But a lot of our guests love that little quirk as they walk around the hotel. So this is a better view of the pods. So they're really, really comfortable and very cool. And they've got a light in them. So if you end up in a very juicy chapter of your book, you can just put on your light, stay seated or lay down in the back of them. There's a lovely lounge area. This is our fire pit, which has become really popular. You can even be in the pool as the fire's lit with your gin and tonic, and it's quite amazing to be sort of have the two elements of fire and water. So some of our guests love that, becomes their like ritual every evening. We also do movie nights from here with a round table. This is where we project our movies from, and everyone sits in this beautiful U. And then we also have a captain's table, which is a very beautifully decorated Robinson Crusoe deck for larger groups, or sometimes guests like to sit with each other because they, hit it off. So we can do special dinners for them in this sort of captain's table zone. So the soul of the Cabanas is the wellness. My background was in medicine and health before I came back to Kenya to help my mum. So as not to lose myself completely, I am weaving wellness into the hotels, and it is bringing me such joy. So this is a photo of myself and Yana. Yana is our wellness manager. So if ever I'm not here, because we have another hotel, we don't miss a beat. So one of us will always be on site. And like I said, we do yoga twice a day, 8 till 9 and 4 till 5. We found that's the most sociable hours, but very flexible. We work around our guests, which is brilliant. But a very, very beautiful space. Very hard to leave the yoga studio once you're in it. We find people linger in Shavasana for a very long time. And this is just a glimpse of an evening at the Cabanas. So you'd have your fire pit, maybe a couple having a drink. We've got a beach dinner set up here. Usually we do a beach dinner for the last night of everyone's stay, just to have a really memorable last night under the stars, toes in the sand. And then we have beautiful phosphorescence in our water. So it's a really special thing that guests learn about when they come, that you can swim in the phosphorescence and you light up like Tinkerbell. And it's a very special bit of magic. Here you can see our pod with the tree and our hammock, and it's just a very lovely way to watch the ocean change colour. We are also very, very good at action-packed holidays. I know I've said a lot about yoga and massage and books, and it's all a bit snoozy and lovely and just what I feel like leaning into, but we're very good at our water sports. So if you have action-packed families, grown-ups, children, we've got you covered. I used to be a professional wakeboarder. My husband was a professional kite surfer, so we are not estranged to wanting to move all the time. So we've got great boat sports, from skiing, wakeboarding, donutting, all the boat sports you could ask for, stand-up paddleboarding. And then there is snorkeling. It's seasonal, so we can give you more information on when snorkeling is fab. But there is a treasure island, about 20-minute drive from us, where we often have dolphins also come, which is beautiful. And that happens during the Kaskazi months, which is November, December, January. So that's really beautiful. And then for the more cultural fix, we really, like I was saying, encourage at least one day where people leave the cabanas after breakfast. They can go and see the UNESCO World Heritage Site, see the markets in Lamu, walk those incredible corridors, see a completely different world and how they live, which is always pretty staggering for those who've never been to Lamu before. It's really sort of stuck in time. And then that sort of takes about an hour. Then our captain and boat waits for them, drives them 5 more minutes down the way to Shella. They have lunch, they see Shella, they get to buy boutiquey bits and be seen and see, and then they come back home. So it's a wonderful day out where they get to see the rest of the island, and they're always so relieved to come back to a very peaceful, quiet place, because it's quite a loud side of the island on the other side. So it's a great way to sort of be able to experience it all, but then come back to some serenity. This is our dhow. So Kilindini was built with the village as a way to help the economy when Mum first came to the beach, and show that we were friends and that we wanted to collaborate with the village and help the village. So she stands for so much more than just a boat. It is the first and last boat that village has built, because there's another village that usually gets all the dhows, and my mum was determined to have our village build this one. So she's the pride and joy of the whole community when she sails. And this is Baddy, our captain, who lives in the village. And she can do the most amazing banquet lunches. This is this huge table you just see here with benches. And you can do whole day cruises and go snorkeling and visit the archipelago. You could do an overnight cruise if for the more adventurous people. And then the most popular one is a sunset cruise, which we feel everyone who comes to Lamu should should do is go in a dhow. So that's the most popular one that we encourage everyone to do at least once during their trip. This is sort of the bird's eye view, but in reality, there's Kilindini parked outside, ready to go when anyone's ready. And then this is the bar, Moroccan lounge, the pool, gives you a kind of idea of what it looks like in real life. All of our pathways are sort of wound around trees because we didn't want to cut any down. So it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving, because the dune palms have lended themselves to be steps, and then they're creating the shade for our paths. And so some of these areas, there's a pathway through here that's absolutely magical. It's just completely engulfed with dune palms. And onto the cabanas. This is Moana. It's a glimpse into the top veranda, which looks over the ocean. It's so private because you're elevated high up above the Indian Ocean, but you're on the front. And so you can sit here and talk for days and watch the dhow sail by, and no one really can see you. So it's really special, very breezy. So we have a really lovely breeze that goes through, and these are Balinese blue doors and windows that came over from Bali from a different story. So it's got a lot of story, a lot of beautiful wood carving behind it here. So little, sort of like a treasure trove when you walk through these cabanas. This is Lokahi, so you can see how it's raised above, and then it's very private, very similar to Moana. And then these are swinging beds that are downstairs. It has a whole lounge area downstairs, and then the bed looks out over the ocean as well. And then we have all of the sort of lovely botanical, chemical-free, yummy bits in the shower. And then everywhere you look, we've kind of tried to use local materials to build all the cabanas. This is Malama. This is a very special cabana. It's almost like a little villa. It's a family cabana. This is the sort of twin room downstairs, which has an ensuite. And then this is the upstairs double ensuite. And so you can see the bed there in the background and the shower here. It then also has a veranda out the front of it, which has the most beautiful, beautiful tree. I've not been sort of saying what they mean because it's written up here, but Malama means to preserve and protect in Hawaiian, and we did it because we didn't want anyone to ever cut down the tree that sits in front of this and delivers the most incredible canopy of shade. So there's a lovely little tea spot under that at the bottom outside the twin room, and then they've got a second floor which has a rooftop terrace with a baraza and 2 swinging beds. So it's a really special unit. And then Ohana, which is where it all began. So my family lived here while my mother was designing and building all the villas. So it feels like home, which is what Ohana means in Hawaiian. So as a tribute to its past, it also is very homey. Most guests that stay here say it's very hard to leave, and they felt so home from home. And it has this beautiful big veranda outstretching in the front that looks over the ocean. This is a double bed. On one side, there's a twin bedroom in the middle, 2 singles, and then a shared family bathroom. So what's brilliant about Ohana is it's all on one floor. So little kids, like young families that want to be kind of more connected rather than up and down, this is a brilliant cabana for them because they're all on one floor, so they can run into each other's bedrooms. And then Makai, which means to the sea. As you can see, it's here. You can roly-poly into the ocean. It is right there. So for all the mega ocean lovers or those that love to wake up early and go for a run on the beach, this is brilliant. Or swimmers. So you can see here, this is their lounge area. They've got these lovely sort of coffee benches where they can sit and talk for days, some swing beds, read books, have naps. And then this is an image of one of the single beds downstairs. There's 2 single beds with an ensuite. And then this is upstairs, which has a double bed, bathrooms behind it, and it looks out onto the ocean. Makai is great for anyone that might be a little bit elderly or have any injuries because it's right next to the Moroccan lounge. You don't have to walk very far to get to and from meals or to and from the ocean. So this is a bit strange because I've put my old yoga Charlotte photos here, but we've got the most beautiful honeymoon couples cabana coming soon. We hope to be open July 1st, and I'm converting my old yoga Charlotte into this cabana because it is such a magical dune. It has beautiful views out front, the ocean's just here, and this amazing breeze that always blows through. So I'm really excited. We've also got some incredible Balinese panels and things we're going to put into this cabana so it feels a bit different. So this is going to be a very gracious double cabana. And then the next one coming soon is Kailani. So this is our deluxe family cabana, like the ultimate island dream. It's going to have its own private pool, which is quite extensive, infinity pool. And then the bedrooms are just back here. So there's going to be a double ensuite and a double singles or a double bed ensuite. So we're going to keep it flexible in case maybe two couples want to come and just take the creme de la creme. Or if a family of four want to come, then they can put their kids in one room, parents the other. But it has this beautiful view over the pool to the ocean. We've actually taken down this fence so it won't look exactly like this. We've done a few upgrades, but it shows you just how incredible the view is. There's a 360-degree view of the island, which I don't think there's another one quite like it on the island. So it's a very, very special cabana. So I'm very excited about that. Also, we hope that to be open July 1st. The dining, very fresh, very local, organic wherever we can. We've made friends with our farmers across the way. My husband and I are plant-based, so we really take our produce seriously. And so as a result, we've been able to combine with some incredible farmers who don't use pesticides, and we get really fresh produce. This is Katana, our fabulous barman, who's been with us from the beginning. Our bar started as a shipwrecked dhow because we had zero budget, and so he's watched us grow, which has been amazing. And you can see sort of different dining spots. This is the captain's table, beach dinners, and these are the pods. Sustainability and community are really our backbone, and a big reason why my husband and I decided to come back and resurrect the cabanas. There was a huge ripple effect we realised in what Mum had created, both with the villagers and our employees. So we really felt like we owed it to them to try and resurrect something. So we're completely off grid. We're powered by the sun, which is much due to my brilliant husband, and he uses a reverse heat pump to chill the pool. So we always have a really refreshing pool, and we also are big enough now that we can air condition sort of some of the key spaces. We also use all organic, no chemical cleaners, and only one-use plastics. We build from all the natural materials around us. We've got very good at building with palm leaves and coconut palms, and that's what the Makuti Makeka carpets and roofs are. And then we also use a lot of driftwood, and we mill the driftwood and use it because we know it's sustainable to build all our furniture. We support local by employing local and training local. We are very, very close to the school. I'm on the board with the local village here. And so we work very closely with the village and have a very good relationship with them. So this is just a picture of the pods and our belief that really what Sean and I feel is it's about how our guests feel when they come to us. And it's something we learned actually by doing, because we didn't have much really, apart from using driftwood and string and whatever we could find around us. And then we realized that's actually how the guests felt rather than like how bling we were. And that's been such an important lesson to have learned as we organically evolved, because we keep that very much at the heart of our experience, is making sure people, when they arrive, feel so pampered and loved and nourished. Whatever their needs, we try and meet them. This is a bit of a fact sheet here, which I can come back to when we have Q&A, just in case it's useful. But it kind of goes over some of the things that I have been talking about. Best suited for might be quite useful to talk about quickly. Post safari, wonderful, because people feel so sort of bumped around and sort of sat in right angles for a long time, and they just come to the cabanas and they want to walk that 12-kilometer beach. They want to swim the ocean wherever they can. And just sort of unravel and then have a massage, get into yoga, and within 24 hours, they're like a brand new person. I always say I want to take a photograph of the arrivals and departure guests, but it's a fantastic way to sort of come down from what is an incredible safari, but not probably very kind to your body, before you go back into the rat race or back into your job, or back into the city. It's a really good antidote for that. And then this is my husband and I, and that kind of sums it up. Thank you.
Awesome, Anna. That was so wonderful. Thank you for bringing us through the presentation. It honestly looks so divine. I definitely wish I was sitting there right now instead of Sort of where I am, but I can see some questions in the chat box and some lovely comments about the property as well. So one of those first off was just Lucilla has asked how long does the transfer take? I'm
Oh
assuming
yeah.
that's from
Sorry, I should have said. So it takes 25 minutes through the mangroves to get from the airport to the beach.
perfect. Thank you. Maria has asked just for a little bit of intel on the situation in Lama and I suppose, or in Lamu, sorry, and I suppose in relation to areas close to Somalia and kind of remote parts of the island as well. If you could give a little bit of an update.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up on the island, so it's sort of like I always sort of well, I joked that if World War III broke out, I would come to Lamu because what's lovely about the island of Lamu is it's very south. The archipelago is called Lamu, so sometimes we get a lot of bad press because sadly our island was called Lamu and the archipelago is called Lamu, but much more
Mm.
northern parts of the archipelago are sort of closer to the Somali border, which is really good to know. And I think we've got two incredible US and Kenya Navy bases now between us and Somalia. It's a bit over the top actually, but I guess it was just cheap land or what have you. So I feel more protected than ever. But I always felt very, very safe. And so I know it's somewhere that's becoming a very hot topic in the sort of in the circles of sort of the royals and the rich and famous. And I think that it's created which is great, a bit more of an assurance that it's actually okay on the island, and because we're so south and we're quite protected by the creeks around us, that we haven't got any issues and we haven't had any reason to worry.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anna. Andrea has asked, is there diving?
There is not any diving. We get asked this a lot, but there isn't. And I think that must be, I'm not a diver myself, but I think it must be because there aren't any good spots to dive. But watch this space because it's definitely in demand. So if it ever does come up, we'll give a shout out.
Thank you, Anna. Tom has asked, is Wi-Fi available in each cabana?
Yes, so we are quite famous. I should definitely say something about that. We're very famous for our Wi-Fi. So during COVID, I don't know if you all heard about it, but like Notting Hill moved to Lamu to bubble. For some reason, we seem to just be like, just didn't happen here. And not many people had good Wi-Fi, so they wanted to work remotely. And we had a lot of people walk the full 3 hours from Shella to us just for our good coffee and
Oh, wow.
Wi-Fi. So we have Wi-Fi in every cabana, in all the communal spaces, and it's very, very good. It's high speed. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Tanya has asked, is there any issues with the construction which can be seen from Manda?
No, that's on the other side. So we don't see it at all. It's completely the other side of the island. So where Lamu town is, let me just take you back to the map. It's over on the other side. So over here, where my blue thing is, that's where, so Manda Bay, some of you might know, then here's the airport, but it's on this side of the island, whereas we're all the way over here. So it's not affected us in any way.
Awesome, thank you. Um, Please could you share maybe some information on children's activities and what you recommend and what ages for children, if they're staying with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So water sports is our biggest thing because obviously the ocean's right there. So a lot of kids who haven't maybe wakeboarded or skied, it's a great opportunity to get them up and going. And often that is the highlight of a family's trip because if someone gets up on a wakeboard, they want to do it every day. But if they're sort of less wanting to be extreme, we have great sort of donutting and kneeboarding, which we find is super for kids that might not want to sort of go too fast to stand up. We do have a couple of kids that ask for donkeys, so we do a bit of donkey riding. And then our pool, as you can see here, has this sort of little island in it. It becomes like they just love it. They spend most of their time in the pool. So I would say ages 4 and above. I say that on behalf of also the parents that have kids under 4. I just think it's nice to be able to communicate. Just because and they can swim and that kind of thing, everyone can just make the most of it. But we have all ages and stages come and stay with us, and it's very safe. So I think what families love is they don't have to be worried about where their kid's gone or they can't see them because we know everybody on the beach. So if they do go walk about or make a sandcastle in the wrong place, it's never an issue because we're all sort of neighborly friends.
Wonderful, thank you. Sophia has asked about the beach, so kind of just about the sand, how the tides affect the beach, and is there seaweed?
No seaweed. So this is why we are so unbelievably lucky, which I only appreciated when I went to visit other beaches because I grew up here. I thought this is how all the beaches were. But you'll see here in this picture, we've got a little bit of a sea wall here. So this is sort of like mid-tide. The tide on a really high tide can come and sort of lick the wall. So it can come, which is really fun because then you can sort of dive in and swim right out here. And then low tide comes to about here. So the tide does move in and out, but on low tide, it's brilliant for walking. So that's when you get your hard sand. That's when I'd recommend going for a long walk or a run, and then when the tide comes up, the swimming gets great. So
Perfect, thank you. Lara has asked, questions midway. Can you see the lights from the new port in Lamu?
no, we don't see any light. So if you look out here and out here, we
Mm.
are very lucky. We have no light pollution. So the stars are just magnificent, and the phosphorescence in the water is also incredible. So there's literally mangrove in front of us. You can't build there, so there's no light pollution.
So beautiful. Um, Tanya has asked, are there baths in any of the cabanas? And do you also have cots and baby equipment if you do have young children?
We don't have baths. All of our showers have a sort of handle and then a top one. We have a very big pool. And I have for babies, we have got these sort of like big basins that we can bring into the room if that's sort of what you're thinking. And yes, we do. We have a travel cot and a wooden cot that we can sort of give measurements of if families do need us to set them up in their rooms.
Oh, wonderful, Anna. That's perfect. Um, That is all the questions I can see at the moment, but lots of lovely comments, Anna, about the property and just the presentation. I know there is a comment about including it in a brochure, so we will send out all of the images and fact sheets that you will need to create any sort of collateral. Um, but yeah, I think that seems to be it. So thank you, Anna, for joining us.
Thank
And thank you everyone for tuning into the presentation. Do keep an eye out for the follow-up, which will have the newsletter and everything that you need to sell the cabanas. And of course, I will send out Anna's contact details as well. But if you do need anything else from the team, we or the cabanas is now part of the Offbeat Safaris portfolio. So you can get all of your information through them as well. But thanks so much, Anna, and thank you everyone for joining us and enjoy your evening.